Howdy folks, Little John, and time for 5 on Friday. Get a little bit of support from my own honey bourbon. I call this one the Angry Beaver. Who the bloody hell knows why? But let's see the wraps on this one, and I don't mind it, quite nice. Anyway, we'll have a quick chat today. It's about findings and using them, not using them, what do you use. It's a topic that most brewers come across at some point in their brewing, and generally early on in your brewing you get thrown up with this concept of finding your beer. Now the concept normally comes around from you're starting off and you're making kit beer, and generally the kit instructions by and large tell you to use findings before you bottle. And it's used to help clear the beer, so what you're getting in the bottle has less sediment and and stuff left over, so when it comes to pouring your beer it's clear and it looks a lot cleaner. Now it works a lot on the basis that, particularly when you first start brewing, you're coming from the world of of commercial beer, where clarity is really a big factor, how that beer looks. So your big breweries put a lot of effort into making sure that beer is clean and clear. So the brewer who's come from drinking standard off-tap lagers at the local, he thinks he's got to have that crystal clear beer, or there's something wrong with it. It's not as bad. Obviously, as as you progress with your brewing, you realise that clarity has absolutely nothing to do with anything. It's just visual. It doesn't affect flavour. Anyway, let's stick with that. So for a lot of brewers, as you progress through and you get to the point where you're not worried about whether your beer's clear or not, it's something you aspire to from the basis that you're trying to keep all the extra sediment and proteins and things like that cause cloudiness out of your beer, so you can get the best flavour you want and you can achieve. But the clarity of the beer is not the focus, it's not exactly what you're after. So that being said, if you are a brewer who does want to find their beer, does feel the need to have nice clear beer for whatever reason, it could be you prefer it that way, you're starting it, you think that's how beer should be, you don't think it's right, it's not clear. You're going to share your beer with mates and friends that are, aren't going to really take your beer seriously if it isn't clear, because that's what they're expecting to see. So brewers are out there doing it. So findings, for the most part, for most brewers, are just gelatin powder. A little package, you get a little findings packet that you buy from your the brew shop or Big W, or it comes with your kits. It's just gelatin, the same as what you're buying to add in your food when you're thickening it. And that's basically what it is. It's a thickening agent. In a lot of cases, the gelatin it's basically ground up pig's foot, which is why vegetarians don't like to use gelatin as a finding. Now there are other variations that are available, which some use seaweed. Can't think of off the top of my head which one the seaweed. There's things like Delta Flock. There's a few about, but at the end of the day, it's a substance that you add into your fermenter, which grabs particles from suspension and drops them down to the bottom. It flocculates it out. Now, yeast will flocculate on its own, given the right conditions, which is why as you progress with your brewing, you tend not to worry about findings, because there's other processes you can go through which get the same effect. But if you are using the finding, and that's what it's going to do, it drops all that crud down to the bottom of your fermenter, so when you're bottling, it leaves it below the tap, and you can bottle off nice clear product. Actually, this is a good example. That at the moment it's beautiful and clear, that honey bourbon. There's a little bit of crap in the bottom from the honey. Now, there's not much there because I have filtered most of it out, but I give that a shake and that's no longer as clear as it was. Now, time will allow that to drop out and it will become crystal clear again. And that's what processes like cold crushing and lagering will do to your beer. It will give those heavier particles time to drop out to the bottom. Findings is sidestepping that process of time and cold to make it happen quickly. So it's designed for the brewer who wants to turn around beer fast and also have it visually appealing. So you can knock your ferment over in 5 days, throw in some gelatin, leave it sit for 2 days and then bottle, and you're going to have a reasonably clear beer. Now, gelatin does work best in a cold liquid, and if it's actually as part of a cold crushing where the temperature's been dropped when you're putting the findings in. And the interesting fact there is that, you're cold crushing your beer, the cold temperatures drop most of the stuff out anyway, regardless of having the findings. So if you're running through a simple process of cold crushing, or a good fermentation process, then there's absolutely no need for findings. They're really pointless because you're doing the same thing as part of that cold crushing process. They're simply designed for a fast result without any mucking around. So if you're brewing on a bench out in the garage or on the laundry, in the laundry tub, or next to the lounge in the in the lounge room or next to your bed, and you haven't got the option to cold crush, then findings are a good option to get some of that crud out. And it can make a huge difference. It can make a difference between having 3 or 4 millimetres of crud in the bottom of your bottle and maybe having a millimetre of crud in the bottom, making it easier to pour a clear beer and leave it behind in the bottle. As I said, it doesn't affect flavour in any significant way. If you've got a heavily sedimented beer and you use findings to drop that stuff out and it helps to keep it in the bottle, then yes, it is going to be a benefit for your taste. But again, if you're using a decent process during your fermentation, pre-bottling, and then pouring to leave that stuff behind, it doesn't matter. You're leaving that stuff in the bottle, you're leaving it in the fermenter anyway. I can probably count on one finger the number of times I've used findings in the last 7 or 8 years. And it was on a beer I did for a video. It was a comparison, I think. I can't remember. It was a while back now. Actually, it might have even been before I was even doing the videos. It might have been just personally comparing the two. And I do remember at the time it didn't make any difference on the beer I'd done it on because I'd gone through the process. So if you're fermenting and following good processes, just put links up at the top with the discussions about fermentation and the process and the temperatures, and your cold crushing and in your bottling and in good ways, there's absolutely no reason why you'll be using any sort of finings. If you're rushing your beer through, if you don't have temperature control, or if you're just super anal about your beer being super bright, then go ahead, use your finings. If you're going to use finings, don't buy the packets from the shop. That's just a ridiculous waste of money. You know, they charge $1, $1.50, $2 for a packet. You know, you might pay $2 for a packet free. Go and buy a little tub of bloody gelatin from the cooking section at your local supermarket. You'll pay a couple of dollars and you'll get, you know, 20 batches out of it. 1 teaspoon mixed up with a little bit of, you know, with half a cup of water, slowly warmed up in your microwave. That's the best way of doing it. Just half a cup of water, bit of the gelatin sprinkled in, stir it in, give it 20 seconds to go in the microwave, pull it out, stir it, another 20 seconds, stir it again, and keep doing that until that gelatin's all nice and dissolved. Then you just pour it over into your fermenter. And again, there's another reason not to use it. When you're exposing your fermenter to, you know, to oxygen to get it in there, which is a really good reason I say not to do it. But if you are going there, pull the lid off, pour it over the top. You can give it a bit of a stir in, but there's no need, just let it on top, it'll work its way through. 2-3 days later you can bottle up. And there you go. Offsides of that is it does make it a little bit more difficult to reuse your yeast because it's got the gelatin through it, the fining through it. You can reuse it and you can wash it, it just makes it a little bit more difficult. But the reality is, if you're using finings in your beer, I don't think you're worrying about reusing and washing yeast. So it probably doesn't matter so much. Other than that, there's no real disadvantage other than that of doing it. You know, as I said, for me, it's just a pointless exercise. So I'm not telling you not to fine. I'm saying you don't need to, unless you don't have those processes. You know, and if you don't, you really should be looking at it. If you haven't got temperature control and you're brewing beer, then you really should be looking at temperature control before even worrying about whether you need to use finings, because temperature control is far more important than finings. And again, look through the videos, but there's on, you know, temperature control. But so that's me. That's all I'm going to say. There's nothing more to say. It's simple. Use it if you want. I recommend you don't. Okay. If you got any questions, any comments, you know, if you want to tear me a new one because you think gelatin and finings are the bee's knees and everyone should be doing it, stick a comment down the bottom. Let's have a chat about it. Yeah. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the red button down there. Do so. Get a notification when there's something new up. Come along for the ride every week and all the stuff that happens in between. So that's me, Little John. The gelatin or not the gelatin, choice is yours. And until I see you again, we're talking beer, we're brewing beer, we're drinking beer, good brewing.